remember.
I can do this,
He's a
Ethan.
brother.
Believe in me. Believe in me, Ethan.
Old.
I can't do that. Let's see.
Quentin here. I'm fine, babe.
This is Ethan. I'm gonna go. Don't worry, Devin's here. This is time. Let's rock and roll!
Welcome to the Power Up Brothers podcast, where we all sound the same, but we don't know what you sound like. But you know what? If you go down there and you leave us a comment, we still won't know what you sound like. But we'll have kind of an idea of your cadence and your general interests.
And when we read it, we'll like hear a voice in our head. You know, as we read it,
We'll
which
make
we
up
will
a voice
assume is
for
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be a mocking voice when I read your opinions about video
For
games.
Quentin, yeah. He'll mock you.
video games because I'm dumb. You see,
It'll be
like
Quentin's
that.
voice when I hear it.
Good thing this isn't a video game podcast.
Guys,
Thank God.
thank goodness for this.
Right.
The chaos is over. Rachel's back.
Oh, thank God.
Rachel's back.
Hey.
Welcome
God
back.
is a woman.
I miss when Rachel was gone.
Ty's the only one.
He's the only one.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Yes.
Yeah, I liked last week's episode because it was the worst episode we've ever made, and I have no respect for this podcast.
Yeah, that's
We should have gone back to the morgue.
You didn't
That would've
respect
been
it
fun.
anyways.
No, I didn't
Yeah.
respect it anyways. So I was like, oh, it looks more like the vision I want to see. You know?
Do you know we some Power Up lore? We use the morgue currently. When we first moved, we were like, we'll use it as a backup in case anything goes. I was thinking about it the other day. I don't think we could use it at this point. Like
Yeah.
in
I
the
haven't-
condition it's currently.
I haven't been in the morgue in a long time, so
Yeah.
I don't know what it even looks like now.
It's a very
We're gonna be-
sad state of things over
It
there.
is, yeah.
We're gonna be recording from the back of a van.
I want
A
to.
moving van.
If we
Yeah.
have to like not record here, I want to just record like hiking in the woods in the dark.
That's perfect.
Right, like that.
Right.
That would be the perfect
Have you,
state.
Blair Witch style.
have you considered just all of our chairs somehow fit into the bathtub of
That would be
Michael
great.
B's shack? And,
That would be great.
You know, we all just sit real cozy for
I
an
think
episode.
Blair Witching
Tub
it, right?
episode.
We all have like
Blair
the,
Witching.
Yeah,
right.
Found
Yeah.
footage.
Yeah.
Found footage.
Found
Some-
footage.
Some
podcast.
week is coming when we're gonna
The
have to
found
do that.
footage
The found
episode is
footage
going to be our
episode.
most
So-
watched episode ever.
Whenever they make a new Slender Man
It's
game.
going to have like
Oh,
4.5,
that,
5
we'll do it then. We'll do a
views.
Slender Man styled episode.
We should do a deep dive on Slender Man at some point. Let's do
I
it.
don't know why we you know, as a video game podcast, we don't do specials. You know,
I know you.
you
would
know,
think.
like how when you
It's
know
not
you
the
were
main
growing up.
episodes yet.
Yeah. Oh well, that's
Is it
we're
true.
not
really
there
special?
yet. We're on 29 right
Yeah.
now.
'Cause, you
Give
know,
us-
In
give
order
us
to
the
do
30.
specials,
'Cause
they
you
have to
remember how-
be special, and
you know,
we're not.
Well, that's a good point. But you
He's got
remember
a
how
point.
growing up, you know, you'd be like, you'd have your favorite show, and
Yeah.
then there would be a Christmas special, right?
Sure.
This
Yeah.
would be like that, but it would be like we're having the Gex special. We're all dressed in
Yeah.
lizard
That's actually a pretty good
costumes and
idea.
making bad jokes,
good.
which isn't far off from me
I was
showing
about
up
to say,
normally.
How would
Pretty
you
good.
tell the difference?
You know,
Before Quentin gives away all of our good ideas to
That's a
the
good
audience,
point,
let's
that's a good
all
point.
in tandem, Sleepy Ty. Where are we going? We're going to the news. If you like that feeling of sitting around with your friends just chatting about video games endlessly,
Yeah.
go to some other podcast, because here you're just going to hear four brothers babble on forever. But if you like that, subscribe. Help us get to our very first subscriber goal.
please.
500
5,000.
subscribers.
500.
Not 1,000. Actually, if we get to 5,000, that'd be dope.
That'd be cool too.
I
But
won't be
500 by
satisfied.
September.
By
At-
September. Help us
yeah.
get there.
At 250, we're gonna talk a little bit about what happens when we reach that goal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If you get us to
Yeah.
250, we'll talk about what happens at 500.
Yeah, we'll start to.
So share
It
us
might
with
have
friends.
We got-
something to do with September.
Oh,
You
got some
never-
fun stuff planned.
You never know.
You never know.
Only
Get
good
really
things
excited.
happen in
Only good
September,
things.
ladies,
Yeah,
including
historically.
us hitting our subscriber goal.
Yes.
If
Us
you-
slamming into our subscriber goal.
If we
Oh,
crash into
no.
that subscriber
We're gonna-
goal and bring the house down, let me tell you, it'll be
Oh,
terrific. We can
no.
even afford water. Like
Yeah.
actual water. This has got some
That's
bugs
real
in
water.
it. What is that?
Before he
Oh
starts
my
complaining
God.
about my water
That's
that
incredible.
I graciously gave him.
Yeah.
Rachel, what's the first thing
What's the
on the
first
news
topic?
docket?
First thing on the news, some small news here.
Small news.
Switch turned 8. It's 8 years old.
8 years.
Going into first
I'm
grade.
such an old man.
8
March 2025.
Right.
Such an
Which was
old
8
man.
years ago.
I will-
agonizing years of our lives
I will
have
have
been
to-
spent with this little
I feel so
toy that
sorry.
There
Nintendo
it is.
built.
There it is.
There it is. Look at that.
Um,
And how many years since Mario Odyssey?
In October, 8 years, as painful as that is.
Wow.
Let me.
Yeah, crazy.
Do you have a picture from when you went and picked up the Switch?
I do.
Absolutely.
And it's right
Yeah.
here.
Look at that.
I'm going to see if I
My
can't
God.
dredge up mine because it's hilarious.
Yeah.
And maybe Ethan's is right here.
Oh my God. Look at that.
I'll
You were with us.
I also.
Sort of.
Yeah.
I wound up getting it and then having to go to work like a couple hours
Oh,
later.
Yeah.
And so there's a
Right.
picture of me on break, and I look absolutely insane. Like my hair is all over the place, and I'm so tired, and I'm sitting on break at work with a Switch.
My only memory of
Incredible.
that really is that some YouTuber came up to interview us, and I was dressed in
Oh,
a
yeah.
trench coat, and he was like, "So why are you excited about the Switch?" And I was like, "I've got horrible emotional problems that have to be filled with Nintendo." You know?
Do you know I looked for their channel? I don't think they ever uploaded.
Oh, they
us.
did.
They did? Are
Yeah,
we on there?
Yeah. I have the video saved somewhere.
I don't
If
want.
you have it saved, send it to me.
I
It
hope
might
they
be
didn't,
linked.
because if I don't want to be on YouTube.
That's a good point, actually.
Got some bad news
Never
for you
mind.
there.
Oh no!
I
I'm
don't-
so
I
upset
wouldn't-
if anybody saw this.
I wouldn't want my bad jokes recorded.
Yeah.
That would be awful.
Subscribe. No.
So speaking of Nintendo news, the Switch 2 will support
Yes.
lots of things.
So
Like marriages.
the
Marriages.
The Verge confirmed that due to some FCC filings,
Oh yeah.
that the Switch 2, couple things, is going to have Wi-Fi 6, which is nice. It's going to. There's an NFC reader in the right Joy-Con, so it's going to support Amiibo.
Wow.
I think
Amiibo.
I think that was pretty much a given because it's backwards compatible with the Switch, and it'd
Yeah.
be weird.
There's so,
So-
many games that have Amiibo.
Yeah.
So let me get this straight.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
thing got Wi-Fi.
It's got
Alright.
Wi-Fi
Got
6.
Wi-Fi.
Don't try to confuse me. This thing's got Wi-Fi. Now,
Right.
is this like when? Do you remember when the PSP came out
Yeah.
and they
Also
said
had Wi-Fi.
they said the technical name for Wi-Fi rather than using the word Wi-Fi, and everyone made fun of them
That's hilarious.
What did they say?
What is it? I forget. Everyone made fun of them because Nintendo at the very same minute was like, the DS has Wi-Fi. They just used the word
Oh,
Wi-Fi.
I think I remember.
Yeah.
that. It was like a direct.
It was like
Wireless
wireless
fidelity.
connectivity.
wireless
Yeah.
fidelity connection.
Something like that. They used some
I don't know.
Nerds.
They used some lame nerdish
I know.
terminology.
We
but
hate nerds here.
we
Yeah,
don't like them.
obviously.
But the point is so the Nintendo Switch 2 will have Wi-Fi,
It will.
and it will have a feature that was on the previous version and was integral to many games.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily a given.
You know,
it was like with
Amiibo-
everything.
If
I'm
only-
really glad because
Yeah.
I sincerely did not think it would have Amiibo support
No.
because Nintendo doesn't seem to know that they make Amiibos. They're confused
Yeah.
about it all the time.
They went all in on
Well,
Amiibos.
it's the coolest
Yeah.
idea Nintendo has ever had is that they're
Yeah.
going to sell like high quality figurines
Yeah.
that also work with games. And I've
As
always been like,
DLC.
that's the coolest idea. You can save
Yeah.
things on there. The Smash Bros. Characters, like learning, like you can
Wolf
train.
Link.
That was
Mhm.
cool.
Wolf Link.
Wolf
Like,
Link.
Wolf Link, yeah. in-
All of
in
them are
Breath
so
of the
cool.
Wild.
Breath of the Wild.
And then they're just like,
Never again.
they're like, I don't understand. What do you mean, Xenoblade 3?
I go
Yeah.
back and
We're
forth
done.
on Amiibo because I'm like, I think it's like a really good idea to have like the
Yeah.
the connectivity and the ability. It's not just a cool figurine that you can collect. It's also like something that's usable in the game. But I also think that they didn't go too wide with it. Like Disney Infinity was too much. Like just to play as all the characters in Disney Infinity, someone added up. It's like $300 for one season.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
they did need to make a game that used them. I just don't think it's a game where you should feel like you're missing out if you don't have them.
They did.
You don't
it's
want.
called Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival.
Yeah. No one likes
Oh,
it.
sure.
Hey,
Yeah, they
I have so
shouldn't.
many. I literally have so many Animal Crossing
Yeah,
amiibo
same.
that I would be the only person that could play that game, and I still wouldn't have.
I really feel though like if they had made some kind of game where you could either play as the characters that they've made amiibos out of, or use them in some way, like some
Yeah.
kind of like it's like trainer game or something, right?
Yeah.
I don't feel like I would want any amiibos that I don't have already. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
like, oh, I got to go get this one. I'd be like, well, no, I got Piranha Plant, I got King K. Rool,
Yeah.
right? I got Noah, Xenoblade,
Sure.
I got Sephiroth. I think I'm set.
Yeah.
I would have been super happy with that.
Until
And they play it
until
would,
the next Smash
the
Bros.
Disney
and they
like Toys to Life is a
10.
good analogy because the problem is that's the only thing they do. With Smash Bros, like you have this, you have
Sure.
that, like you can train the fighters, and then other games you can get like Legend of Zelda, you get costumes. So you wouldn't be buying like a toy just to play that character. You'd be buying an amiibo that can be used for a bunch of stuff.
That was
My-
the pitch for Amiibo when it was first coming out, is that you buy this thing and then it's like buying DLC for a bunch of different games, even ones that aren't
Mhm.
released. And early ones were kind of like that, but they
Right.
kind of fell off and like didn't really. it was
Well,
like it was
Almost
good
feels
for
like
one
Nintendo got
game.
burnt out on
Like
it.
yeah,
It was a
yeah.
Wii U
Well,
thing.
and my thing
Yeah.
is that I liked the Amiibo figurines, but I hardly ever used them.
Yeah. It's
part
more
of
of a
the- part of
they're,
the-
they're good figurines.
Well, they're
It's
they're
cute.
pretty nice
Yeah.
figurines for the price, especially if you do a little, hunting and you get nice ones, like a good price.
Yeah.
But my problem ultimately is that I think that there's a fatal flaw in the Toys to Life model, which is that we should just have all of this content accessible without buying toys, because
As long as
Skyward
it's
Sword
cosmetic,
literally keeps
Oh.
back necessary content behind having a
No,
loft
that-
wing.
Actually,
What I'll say is this
Which
is
is
a
awful.
great topic for the topic bag
That is.
amiibo. And so,
And-
Rachel,
Yeah.
put it in the bag.
Put it in the bag.
But for the sake of news, what's the next news item?
Next news, Ty. Sound like Monster Hunter broke some records.
Monster
hear
Hunter
it.
came out a week ago. If you're watching this,
Okay.
and it's breaking records, baby.
I know. What was
Right,
it, like
let's
8
hear it.
million in 3 days?
8 million, 3
wow.
days. Broke
Yeah.
Steam's concurrent player records.
Yeah.
Would you look at that?
Had surpassed like Baldur's Gate and stuff. Pretty crazy,
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
considering the game barely runs on Steam.
yeah.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah,
that is impressive.
I will say that Capcom made a lot of strides toward.
Did they make a content
helping?
patch?
Yeah, they've made several patches and it's
Yeah.
gotten steadily better. There's this weird trend. There's a feature on Windows machines called Direct Storage. It's part of Microsoft's graphics API that like DirectX. A bunch of like the last like 3 games I've gotten
Right.
have
Yeah.
had a really old version of Direct Storage, and you can just like copy and paste the new one in and fix like half the problems.
Does
Final
Wilds?
Fantasy had it. Wilds has that problem.
Weird.
And like they patched it eventually on all of
Yeah.
those games, but like it just seems like why ship with an old version like multiple years out of date
That is bizarre.
and it breaks your
It-
game.
yeah.
My
right.
guess is because Capcom's not doing the ports. On
That's
these.
gotta
I
be
think
it.
it's just because
Yeah.
they hate you personally.
Yeah.
I
They're
do
like,
think
we know
I do
Ty.
think
Just
Square
hate you
did
personally.
the Final Fantasy port though, and it did it.
I don't know.
I could be wrong about
People,
that.
Strange.
what I've seen online about Monster Hunter, is that there's a lot of talk about the story in the game.
Yeah.
A lot of talk.
Yeah.
For a Monster Hunter,
That
there's a
doesn't happen
shocking
much.
amount of talk about the story.
Yeah.
The story is pretty like in depth compared to Monster Hunter. I don't mean that it's like a deep story, but the story is like really wanting you to know like each of the beats.
Yeah,
It's
lots
not
of
a
voice
simple
acting.
story.
Yeah.
I
Lots of
have not
Pretty
played the game yet,
complex. Right.
so I don't know what the story is about.
Yep.
However, I do frequent V on 4chan, and they
Oh,
have
no.
a lot to say about the story.
Okay.
But they do. It has
Namely-
minorities in it.
Namely, that it's woke. It's woke DEI.
Right.
It is
Yeah.
Biden DEI.
All
Right.
the
It
adjectives.
It is featuring minorities DEI.
Crazy Taxi.
Crazy
DEI.
Taxi Tim Walls is probably the producer DEI, right?
Probably.
And they don't like it. Now, I haven't seen anything about the story. I don't know what it's about. I've heard
Spoiler alerts about monsters.
what?
Mm-hmm.
I know.
And hunting them.
Well, that's
Sorry.
the first time since
I'm
Try
sorry,
that
audience.
it's been about
It's
a
about
monster.
monsters.
Sorry,
It's about
audience.
hunting them, and it's about DEI.
Okay.
Listen.
And the problem is that all I've seen is just people reposting the same image of a child from the game, and people claiming that this child is the end of Western civilization. And I
probably
have to keep
right.
reminding them that this game was made in Japan, was never
Probably
related to the
right.
West at all. It was in fact
Yeah.
the East.
I think
but
only
I don't know anything
on
about it.
only on 4chan is that conversation really going
Probably,
on.
and
critical
it does not
thinking.
matter.
Critical thinking is the rarest.
Here
candy of
is
them
my.
all.
It is the rarest candy.
Here's
of them
the
all.
thing: Monster Hunter Wilds, and this is the reason it's sold so much. It has changed the best thing about Monster Hunter,
Mhm.
and it has changed it to something that everyone's going to have to grapple with, whether they think it's the best. Is they have replaced the best animation being
Okay.
obviously the cats cooking.
Okay.
The cat's cooking in every Monster Hunter.
Yes,
Right.
except for
S-tier.
Try, where they don't for some reason.
Yeah.
Well, the old Monsters,
It's annoying.
They didn't really.
They
in the
never.
old
They
Monster.
started doing that later on,
Yeah.
like in like
the really
4.
detailed, like
The really detailed.
I
like,
think
cooking.
that they had
Nice.
in Freedom Unite, they have animations for the cats cooking.
no, not really. No,
No, I don't think so.
I'll
Maybe,
pull that up,
maybe.
but I
but
probably do,
they
but
replaced that as being the best animation, apparently, with Jimma forging weapons being the best
It
animation.
is fantastic.
As she gets sweatier the longer she works on the forge until everyone loses their minds. I have seen so many videos of so many streamers.
To be clear, the food still looks incredible.
Absolutely,
it does.
like dissolving during those
Right.
cutscenes.
Right.
So
Same.
Well,
that's the reason it sold 8 million,
I
guys.
thought I was going like it is really well animated, and then you just said sweaty, and I was like, oh,
Okay, we
Yeah,
know where this
he
is going.
baited
Here's
me.
my
He
point:
baited
is
me.
that this is a Worlds-style game
Right.
made by the Worlds team, and not the true Monster Hunter team that makes good
Rise
games,
team,
the Rise
yeah.
team. And so I'm gonna say, slop, 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 slop,
Quentin
slop,
adding
slop.
so much
Yeah.
to
Okay.
the news
Always.
section.
And there's always
about a game.
you have
This
played
is
it.
going to be his game he hasn't played, but has strong
I-
opinions.
He already did.
And I already did
He
it.
already
Slop.
did it.
Of course,
Right here in the
and
news.
Rachel,
if I-
please, for the love of God, take us to the next
Okay.
news topic.
Next one.
So there are some interviews that happened this week.
Yes.
One with an ex-Nintendo employee, and then one with, I'm gonna let you pronounce that name.
Can you pronounce it?
Takia Imamura had an
yeah.
interview. The guy,
How's Taki doing?
he's good. Friend
He's
of the
doing
pod.
good.
Mr.
Friend of the
Imamura.
podcast, Mr. Imamura.
Love to
Yeah.
have you on the podcast.
Come on the
No, so
podcast.
two former Nintendo employees have been interviewed recently. One of them was like a marketing person. His interview is a little bit more of small news, but then Mr. Imamura's interview is amazing. Like it's some really cool.
Yeah.
He was the artist behind like the original Star Fox and F-Zero. And he just released Omega 6, which I really want to play. It looks really fun. But we'll start with the marketing guy. His insight was interesting just because he said that while he was with Nintendo, I think maybe like 10 years he was there, he talked about how that when they were approached by people for a Zelda movie over the years that he was there, the answer was always just no. Like he was like, the answer is just no. In fact, Rachel, read his exact quote that he gave, the first guy, the merchandising guy.
So people were always calling about doing a movie. You can imagine that the most common question is, we're calling, we'd like to do a Zelda movie. So the answer was always no. And so, even I personally said, Mr. Miyamoto, if Steven Spielberg himself wants to do a Zelda movie, what is the answer? He said no. So that was it.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy to see from when he was at Nintendo to now.
Yeah.
That like Sony Pictures is making a Zelda movie.
Mm-hmm. We could have had. What this is telling me is we could have had Steven
We
Spielberg.
could have had
making a Zelda
Spielberg.
movie,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah. What's
Right.
his called? Touchstone? Is that him? It's the bicycle.
Yeah,
Amblin.
Amblin.
We could have had Amblin, but now we have Sony Pictures.
Now we have Sony Pictures.
So,
the makers of the
Planet of the
famous
Apes guy.
Morbius.
They did make Morbius.
So-
Rad
Rad.
time.
So you're saying that now in the world where we have video game movies being made all the time,
Yeah.
Right.
that could have been the past?
Yeah.
Well
Yeah,
said.
well
Quentin.
said. Well
Is
said.
that
I feel like you glossed over the part where he said that they, in the basement, they take people and carve them up and feed them to.
Yeah.
their
I think you
workers.
all
We
need,
didn't really feel like that was
I
relevant.
think you all need to address
Soylent Green.
That's not news.
I think you all need to address what I just said and not just move on. Are you saying, I'm going to repeat the question, are you saying that
Right.
what is going on right now where there are video game movies all
Right.
the time
Yeah.
could have been the past?
I'm gonna correct you and say
A
that
link to the past. There, I addressed you.
I'm gonna correct you and say that it was the past,
It
and
was?
there have always been video game movies being
Yeah,
made basically constantly.
It really isn't so much that like
Mm.
that back then they didn't make video game movies. It's just that something internally has shifted, and now Nintendo is more positive towards the idea.
Right.
I think it's because...
I think it's Bob Hoskins.
Because
death,
Nintendo,
honestly.
Nintendo wasn't really making. They weren't the perpetuators of this.
Yes,
Because I would say
that
if we
was
look
it.
at all of the video game adaptations that have gone on, I'd say the vast minority of them have been Nintendo titles.
Yeah.
Until recently.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
You mean in the past?
Yeah. Right. The vast
know.
minority of them have been.
Oh, minority. I thought you said majority.
No. The
no.
vast minority of video game
Correct.
film adaptations have been Nintendo ones.
Yeah.
Until recently.
So something changed internally. We don't really know what.
Wait, man.
I assume it's that Miyamoto was freed up to go and work with these people because he really made Illumination and Universal like go through their paces on the Mario movie. He did not let them just sort of like make a quick movie and then shove it out. It took like years of them having to set it up and like get it just right. So that's interesting that there was a shift. As far as the Imamura one, he has some really cool insights on something we've talked about on the podcast, but that he sort of confirmed, which is like the Nintendo way, the Nintendo approach to the design philosophy. And Rachel,
let's just give our viewers some foundation here.
Yeah.
He designed, or his character designs include Captain Falcon, the Star Fox cast, and Tingle.
yeah. So he's obviously
That,
a
is,
master.
man, that was
single
quite a
good one.
bit of whiplash
Yeah.
with that. Okay, this I don't know what
I felt like my F-Zero car went off the tracks there.
because
Yeah.
you started out with like characters. It's like okay, I see
yeah.
Captain Falcon's
Right.
design, and then
You
I
can
see the
see that.
jumpsuits, and then I know that.
they are very similar.
And obviously, Star Fox became an F-Zero racer in
Yeah.
one of the endings.
In the
And
famous
the
Star
biggest
Fox
pervert
Command.
in the Nintendo world, Tingle.
Tingle.
But then
yeah.
Tingle, that is
Yeah.
an odd variation.
Yeah,
Do you remember
Tingle.
that Tingle was like a normal, just like a 37-year-old man in the
Yeah,
he's-
Majora's Mask?
He's
right?
like a middle-aged man.
Yeah, he's
I don't
like,
care
yeah.
how old he is. He's
and
a pervert.
he's like a normal looking guy. And then in
Man.
I
Wind
wouldn't-
Waker, he has like unholy demon eyes for some reason.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
And he's like creepy. He like when he walks toward
He's
Link,
in a
it's
cell.
terrifying.
It's in
Majora's
a
Mask
cell.
Tingle could be
Yeah.
4 years old, and I wouldn't let him around.
Isn't it
other
weird that we
kids.
still
No
talk
way.
about Tingle even though he wasn't in like the last like 5
I know.
Zelda games?
That's just how.
That's how scary he was.
That's how much we
That's
love
gone.
him. But his costume was in them.
That's right.
Yeah.
But he was in
lives
the
on.
best Zelda game.
Wind Waker.
You're gonna have to figure it out. Which
Oh
one
yeah,
I'm talking
figure it
about?
out. What's he talking about?
Do you
audience?
think
Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land.
Which
No,
that's
the
a
thing
good
is,
one.
he talks
that's
about
fun.
he talks about how with the Nintendo way, it's about pushing things. It's not just about going like, oh, okay, so this is good enough. It's like, what is everybody else doing? Like, does not come into it. They're like,
yeah.
and I like one of his quotes. I might misread it. Rachel, tell me if I get it wrong. He goes, "It's not about lowering the barrier of entry. It's making something that's just fun for anyone to play. Like it's just something that anyone can play it and enjoy."
Yeah.
He's like, it was never about like, oh well, let's lower it down so that more people can play it. It was like, can we create an experience that it doesn't matter what your skill level is, you can still enjoy the game.
That's interesting because like Miyamoto has often said that like playing outside in the woods is the inspiration for the original Zelda.
Right.
And there is this idea that like you can take it as seriously or as unseriously as you want to. You just go out and play, and like some friends are, they are really into it, and then the
Yeah.
other kids are just out there to play. And that kind of mentality also like translated into things like D&D, where like D&D is very much designed to be like
Imagination.
well,
and
yeah,
stuff.
if you want to get super into the numbers, you can. If you just want to like sit and play, this is just like simpler. And
works fine,
everyone
too.
is
Yeah.
having fun. You can have those two kind of players sitting at the same table.
Sure.
And Nintendo always does have that kind of philosophy of the big table where
Yeah.
it's like however much you want to put in, you'll get out.
Yeah.
Like, you can play Tears of the Kingdom and just like run around.
Right.
And you can beat the whole game. Or you can play Tears of the Kingdom, you can like really go like ham on some of those monsters and like get super crazy builds. You can do either.
That like, and I think that speaks to it because all of us here, some of us continue to, but you still count, Quentin. You're still in
talking
it.
about me?
You're still in it.
You talking about
We're
me?
all we've all played games for years, and like
That's true.
there are certain elements like when we pick up a game that we've never played before, you'll see us like testing to see like what does this button do? How do I do this? Whereas people who are less familiar with video games are more hesitant and like they're more nervous to
They're
try
looking for the
things.
rail to like click onto.
Yeah.
So then kind of be guided along.
And they're scared of things like falling off of a cliff in a new game, whereas we think that's really funny because we've been doing it a million times.
Yeah.
It says something that those newer players who are more timid towards games love Nintendo games.
Mhm.
And like experienced players love Nintendo games. So what Imamura is describing is exactly what they achieve most of the time.
Yeah.
Is that effect of like anyone can enjoy it. And I really liked you'll appreciate this as an artist, Ethan. He talked about his approach to making art
Yeah.
and how he's always looking for what can be removed, like
Ooh, I like that.
the art of subtraction. He creates a character and then goes, what can I remove without destroying the element of the character so that it's just as like everything
It's not
there is
busy.
exactly
So-
what needs to be there.
But
Yeah.
you said that he's a former Nintendo employee.
He just left after 32 years.
So
yeah.
let me get these facts straight. So
32.
he's a former
my
employee.
whole life.
So his influence is gone, and what good he brought to this industry is now lost.
No, he just made a game, Omega 6.
Oh, he went independent. He left Nintendo to go
Correct.
independent.
Correct.
Gotcha. God bless him. That's great. And he's
Okay.
Japanese. All right,
Yes.
that's all I needed to know about him.
Yes.
Okay, good for him.
Yes, Mr. Umemura is
That's-
Japanese.
He is, in fact,
Big
Japanese.
shock.
That
Big
is really
surprise.
nice. Okay, that's terrific.
No, go check out. He's doing a lot of
Omega
interviews.
6.
He did
Yeah.
an interview with Nintendo Life. I think he did one with Good Vibes Gaming.
So though he left
Kid and
Nintendo after 30 years, it sounds like he left on pretty good terms.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, Mr. Imamura,
his-
come on the podcast. Do an
We'd
interview
love
with
to
us.
have
That would be
you.
dope.
Yeah.
Did his
We
game
can
come
do
out
that.
on Switch?
We would
It
love.
did, yeah.
Okay, he's not a traitor.
No.
Come on the podcast. We'd love to
Yeah.
have you, Mr.
Yeah.
Imamura, friend of the
Please,
podcast.
friend of the podcast.
I might just make a short of me talking about Omega 6 because I feel
Do
like
it.
should.
little bit of Imamura news. It's so sad that in the maybe the same day or at least the same week, Omega 6 launched
Yeah.
on Nintendo Switch and Steam and all these other platforms, and so did Monster Hunter Wilds.
Boy, that
and
was
it
bad
got
timing.
steamrolled.
What type of game is
Steamrolled.
Omega 6 that you can get on all major platforms, I assume?
So it is I don't want to call it point and click, but it's like a menu adventure game. What would you call that? It's like you see your character, but then you're like in a ship, and
I
you
don't
like
know
go,
why
Ooh,
I asked
those games are
you.
rad.
go to
Yeah.
the.
We talked about it's like Star Control.
It's like Star
Oh,
Control.
it's like Star Control.
It's like the old Star Trek game on DOS.
Oh,
Oh,
where,
that's
like,
what we talked
rad.
about last week. Okay.
yeah, that's
okay.
a
Yeah,
point
you
click
see-
adventure.
Like, would you describe that as
okay.
like point and click? Because you're not really like just like walking around. I don't think you do any exploring. I'm talking about this game
Yeah,
I've
you-
never
you-
played.
I was just
You
gonna
are
say,
now
I
talking
have
about
a
it in
strong
I just said,
opinion
I don't know
about
why I
it.
asked
Opinion.
you. Let me see here.
Devin, you are the worst at selling things.
I'm so
We
bad.
talked-
at
Okay.
selling
This
things.
is well established.
No,
Well established podcast lore is that Quentin is the best at selling things and
Yeah.
hates everything, and Devin
Yeah.
loves
Hey
all
everybody,
things and
do
is
you
bad
want a
at selling.
snatcher-like visual adventure with text on the screen with a person's face next to it with imagery in between the top and
I
bottom?
feel like
with
he's just saying what
elements
I
of-
said.
No, it isn't. Sir, you didn't bring up Snatcher once, the best example you could have, but also
Yeah.
a rock, paper, scissor interactive fighting section.
That is pretty cool.
Which is pretty interesting. Snatcher had shooting sections. This has fighting sections
Kind of
and
cool.
unique animations. Come play Omega 6 by the hit Mr. Imamura.
Friend of the
30
pod. I'm
plus
sold.
years at Nintendo, and apparently I think he's a manga artist as well.
He is. The Omega
so-
6 was a manga.
So we've got a man.
Rachel,
quite
what else we
that's
got?
incredible.
Our final news topic is Ethan's.
Oh.
Something happened in music this week.
Is it
Okay,
just anything in
music.
music. Oh,
Is it over?
Right,
Guys,
that
Is
guy,
music over?
No.
that musician is dead.
Rosen,
Who?
my favorite,
Oh,
one of my
right.
favorite artists who does he does remixes of music. He does original pieces inspired by
Mhm.
video game music. He has released a new album,
Mhm.
and do you know what that album is called? It is called
I don't dare answer.
All Range Mode.
Oh,
my
what?
God.
Wait, what?
Oh, what?
It is
got
called
Star-
All Range Mode.
We've got some.
Okay, for
It's
anybody
a
that's
Star Fox
confused,
themed album.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This is
all range
incredible.
mode is a Star Fox term.
This is
It
perfect.
is so good.
Really?
It is so good.
And I love
it's
that.
already out.
Yes,
Just to clarify.
he just dropped it. 'cause
I love
that's
that
how he
because
went.
as
a
someone who
genius.
looks for them all the time,
Yeah.
there's not a lot of Star Fox music remixes.
No,
Now there is.
Yeah.
It's the first of all, Lilat system, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Opening,
amazing.
10 out of 10. He's got Macbeth in there. It's so
He
good.
needed Macbeth,
So
yeah.
good.
He's got he does. You know how when you would like click into the menu, there's that like trippy music.
Oh yeah, we used to close the pod with it. Yeah.
Yeah. He has a version of that.
Had
It's
to.
incredible.
Yeah.
He mixes some together really interesting. Like I think Sector X and Titania are mixed together,
That's
which is pretty
fantastic.
rad.
I would assume Venom and the Star Wolf theme are
Star Wolf
He
is
actually
there,
gives Star Wolf its own.
okay.
He does Venom. He actually does the reverse. He does Venom, and then he ends with Star Wolf as the last of like the action tracks.
Oh,
He doesn't do Andross's kind of theme because Andross's theme is mostly a remix in game. It's a kind of a remix of a earlier boss theme.
yeah.
It's kind of the first boss's theme like done bigger.
Yeah.
So when he does the first boss, it kind of sounds like the Andross theme.
Sure.
So he kind of avoids that. The final 3 tracks are Star Wolf.
Mhm.
But everyone here has listened to Star Wolf, countless times.
Such a good track.
Rosen doing Star Wolf is
Well,
so good.
Yeah, such a good
It's
track.
so good. And then he does All Clear.
Oh, cool.
And he just
That's
brings
incredible.
the whole house down.
Yeah.
And then for the very final track, he does staff credits. And it
That's
is
super
as,
cool.
it is as good as you could imagine.
I was literally
it
about to
being.
ask if he skipped staff credits. It's
No,
a huge
that
missed
is, that
opportunity.
ends the album.
Well, that's phenomenal.
Here's the thing: you have to go and listen to this album because it's first of all, it's Star Fox.
Rosen's amazing, but
Yeah.
Star Fox.
Yeah, the cover art, unbelievable. It's so good. The thing he does, and I've said this before, when I did like my whole section once back in the morgue about Rosen, he's the GOAT. He's just on another
Yeah.
level. He just gets it. You know how the Nintendo 64 just like has no way to describe it, that thing, right?
Yeah,
You hear
right.
music from 64.
You instantly.
I don't know. Someone out there who knows
Something
more
about the
music.
sound processor
It's-
is very
yeah.
unique.
Yeah, something about the sound processor, something about how it like steps up and down when it's changing that doesn't sound
Sure.
unnatural, but sounds like the Nintendo 64. You immediately know
Yeah.
when
A
you
lot
hear
of it's
it.
the sound fonts too that they use.
Everyone who does remixes of 64 music, whether it's Ocarina of Time, Star
Yeah.
Fox, any of those games, Mario, whatever they were on the 64,
Yeah.
anyone who does those remixes gets all the notes and sounds like a modern song, and you can tell that it's from a 64 game, but it just sounds modern.
Right.
This God amongst men, right? All the instruments are recorded instruments, right?
Yeah.
I've seen like the setup he has, right? Where he
Sure.
records all the time. They're all instruments. Listen to it. It sounds like you're listening to a Nintendo 64. I can't explain what
Yeah.
it is, but if you are very familiar with the sounds that come out of a Nintendo 64, he captured it.
Rosen is really good at how he balances his music,
Mhm.
and he's good at capturing, like creating a new version of something, but capturing the original feel.
Yeah.
Like
He
sometimes
clearly played all these games.
Yeah, and sometimes I'll say that like not that I don't like lo-fi. Lo-fi is pretty cool, but sometimes lo-fi can kind of miss the mark and it
Mhm.
doesn't feel the same, which people could argue is the point of lo-fi. But sometimes it's like it doesn't really capture the feeling of like, especially like Majora's Mask, the Astral Observatory.
Mhm.
Rosen's version of Astral Observatory is really the only one that captures the like melancholy of it. Astral Observatory is not depressing. It's not sad. It's melancholy. And that's its own thing. And I think when I've heard covers of the Observatory that are just sort of like sad and depressing.
Sure.
But Rosen captured that.
Which his
melancholy.
Majora's Mask album is like it's
It might be his
incredible. It's
best.
probably his
Children
best
of
album.
Termina?
It's,
It
yeah,
might be his best.
I think the only one I like better than that is the Sins of Hyrule, and that's because it's all original pieces that are just like they have parts of them that are from Zelda games, but they're all original.
Extrapolated.
What do you
from
think
him.
of Rosen, Ty?
Who?
Oh,
No,
okay,
I love
moving on
Rosen.
now.
I bought Ethan a vinyl Rosen
Oh, yeah.
album
Which one
Shadows
did
of
you-
Hyrule, I think.
Yeah,
Shadows
Shadows.
of Hyrule.
I'm sorry, it wasn't.
Oh,
Sins
that's
of
the one?
Hyrule. Sins
Okay.
of Hyrule is his first one.
Sins of
Shadows of
Hyrule is his
Hyrule is
first
the
one.
original composition.
Yeah, I bought him Shadows of Hyrule on vinyl, and it took 2.5 years to get there. But then it just randomly came in one
Yeah.
day.
But
We
it
thought
showed
it
up.
was just
It showed up.
we thought we got ripped off by the record
Yeah.
label, and no, they sent it.
They were.
Thank you,
they were
Rosen,
very
for
late.
expediting that
Yeah.
because that actually would have taken
Thank you,
4
Rosen,
years.
for personally
typically.
delivering that to my house in the middle
Yeah,
of
He
the
That's
does-
why it took
really
2
great.
years.
He does just
He
go
came by
around
horse?
anytime someone posts about how they got it. Rosen will just retweet it or like
Cool.
That's cool.
remix it on
Retweet this episode,
Well,
Rosen.
please.
We'll tag you.
Can you
Everybody
imagine a
listen to
world
Rosen's
where
album.
Rosen like does our intro and our outro?
Well, he's a-
I can because
well,
we're gonna
a bumper.
because we're totally gonna
Rosen,
clip
please.
Rosen's remixes
No, we
for
can't
our
see
intro.
that.
every
Well,
single song we
I
use right now
mean,
is on that new album.
I don't know why he
Pretty
wouldn't,
dope.
because I mean, Rosen's a friend of the podcast.
I know,
We
he's a
love
friend.
him
Come on
He's
the
a friend
pod.
of
He told
the
me that I
podcast.
could
We have
use
him
it.
on,
The last thing I'll
couple
say
times a
about
week.
it,
Yeah.
last thing I'll say about it is he can name an album.
I know.
Oh,
He
that is
can
a
name
good-
an
As soon as you
album.
said
All
all range
range
mode,
mode.
we all freaked out, and
Yeah.
Rachel went like,
What?
They're all freaking out. I wonder what's happening.
Children of
What's going on?
Termina, great name.
Yep.
Right. The Crest of Flames,
Great name.
super good. The Keyblade War.
That's a
They're
great.
all something where if you're a fan of the franchise, you'll know it immediately.
You know what I mean?
Which
Right.
is genius.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
And
goal.
then like he just gets it. Sometimes he goes super high concept, really like, and then sometimes he's just like, it's all range mode, baby.
Yeah,
I
all
know.
range.
And
mode.
then also
That's
like
so good.
range,
Name it.
like musical range.
Yeah.
Like it's
It's
got
a
the
perfect
double.
name.
It's
It's a
so
perfect name.
good.
Really good.
Yeah.
Look up the art for it when you get a chance.
Oh,
like
we're gonna
yeah.
insert it.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
gonna be
yeah,
up
it's,
there.
it's so
Fantastic.
good,
It's really good.
man.
Cool.
Like you have to listen. If you just start at the beginning, you're just gonna go on like a trip, and then by the time you
Yeah.
get hit with like all clear and then staff credits, you're just gonna be like your eyes are just gonna be wide, staring at
Yeah.
the sky.
I mean,
Like, it's
I
so
mean,
good.
I'm excited to go listen
Just
to it.
replaying Star Fox 64, it is
I
such a
know.
musical
It's
journey
overwhelming
because whenever I hear staff credits, that theme is just it brings
My
me back.
chest gets tight. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
can't-
brings
I
me
can't
back.
not
I love
get
it.
the chest tight. Well, yeah, that's awesome, Rosen. Then that was the news, guys. Thanks
That
for
was the news.
being a part of it. So, who wants to take us?
Topic of the week. Welcome back to the Powwow Brothers podcast, where we don't get any tissues or clean water. We don't get provided a shaving cream and a
Nothing.
razor.
Now that we have
Why wouldn't
timestamps, it's
you?
really it would be really
Let me tell
funny if every time they click a timestamp, we're saying "Welcome to the Power Brothers."
Welcome to the
Podcast."
Power Brothers
Welcome to
podcast.
Rachel, get the topic
Get
bag.
the topic bag.
Ba-dum.
And also a copy of the Geneva Convention so I know my rights.
No.
As soon as the credits
You have
roll,
none
we
here.
chain Quentin up to the radiator.
Yeah,
It's true.
exactly.
And we don't
Back
feed
to
him.
the basement.
Ah,
He goes to the morgue.
All right.
I go back to the morgue. Oh, God.
That drum roll.
Yeah.
Insert the drum roll.
Inserting the drum roll
Okay.
with the topic bag.
Okay,
Who's it
this is a
from?
Devon topic.
Oh,
Item. Okay, it's like a two-part. Items not returning to the new Mario Kart,
Oh.
and new items.
Yeah.
Can we buy a vowel? Can you put that in a question form that is
So
that is
let's
somewhat
do the
more intelligible?
First half.
Listens.
Items you think might not be returned.
Items we don't think are going to.
Yeah.
Items that might
So I was
not
playing.
return.
I was
That
playing
help-
some
that's helpful,
Mario
thank you.
Kart Double Dash with my lovely wife.
Right.
Um,
The best Mario
and stressing her
Kart
out
game.
because I was her
Mhm.
gunner, and I was like,
Mhm.
boost
Punches
now,
people.
like
Yeah.
turn. No, but I started to notice how many items in that game just
Yeah.
aren't around anymore.
Sure.
Chain Chomp is gone.
Right.
Most of them are the custom items.
That
Yeah.
was the first one that came to mind. Was
Um,
Chain Chomp.
Yeah, but then it's got me thinking. So like, there's no the Mega Mushroom from Wii is gone.
Yep.
You guys remember the Shock Cloud from Wii?
Yeah.
That like you would get it and you would like speed up, and then when you could like pass it off to somebody else, that's gone.
The item box is gone. Like the trick one. The
Oh yeah, the
upside-down
fake
box.
item box wasn't in 8. That's a
Which
good one.
that,
Was
by
it
the way,
in
is a
8 and then
travesty.
not in deluxe?
No,
No,
What?
no.
There's an item in 8 that's not in deluxe, right?
no.
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
No.
But the fake item box, that is the worst
Diabolical.
decision to get rid of that because
love
that
that.
Yeah.
that thing was so much fun and it added so much strat.
I
to
could have
the, to
sworn it was in
playing,
8
lining it up.
Deluxe.
No.
Wow.
No fake item box. Unless, well,
So here's
maybe- no, I don't think it is.
I
No, it's
Um,
not.
I have a
don't
hard
think
time
so.
thinking of ones that are not coming back from 8 because I feel like 8 has a lot of like when I think about it, it's a lot of like the staples. You know what I mean? Like Bullet Bill's been in so many.
But I know two that I don't think are coming back.
All right.
Which ones do you think are not coming back?
Yeah, it's what you said. Like they all. You're right. It's like staples.
Yeah.
But there are two that don't feel that way. Fireflower and Piranha Plant.
Oh, that's true.
Mhm.
Those are kind of. I don't think they're completely unique to 8, but they are.
They are. The Piranha Plant's unique to 8.
Oh, okay, yeah. Fireflower, I know, has been in others.
7 introduced it. Yeah.
They
I'm
might
gonna
not
say
come
they're
back.
getting rid of
Might not come back.
Superstar, Mushroom, and Blue Shell.
Wouldn't pick the
And
sir.
Mario.
It's the spiny shell. It's not the blue shell.
Boo.
Yeah.
Get rid of that blue shell. I don't
think
want it.
They'll
I don't want
obviously get rid of the Crazy 8 because it will
Obviously.
no
It
longer be
wouldn't
Mario
make
Kart
any
8.
sense.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good point.
It'll be the
You got this.
nihilistic 9.
There you go. You almost.
Honestly, I don't
Made
think it's
something
going to be
there.
Mario Kart 9. I think they're going to drop.
I don't think it's going to be
numbers.
Mario Kart at all.
I think they're
I think
just-
it's going to be called F-02.
I think that it's going to be just, kind of
not
Hollywood
even the
naming
second
conventions when they do
F-Zero.
these, sort of soft reboots.
You think they'll just do Mario Kart?
Mario Kart, but in a new font.
But it'll be the space between Mario Kart will be gone, so it's all one word.
Nintendo's
Mario Kart.
actually very
Mario
rarely
Kart.
does that.
Yeah.
Like I was shocked when Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door and Super Mario RPG didn't have any like moniker outside of it.
Because like
there was no
Skyward Sword
HD.
HD.
There was
and
no
then-
remake or remastered. I
think it's
going to
be Mario Kart 11,
Right.
and then they're going to say, wait a minute, what's Mario Kart 10? And then Miyamoto is going to say, don't ask questions you're not ready
Yeah.
for.
You don't
You're
want
not
to
ready
know
for
this.
that.
Those people
You
get
don't wanna know.
disappeared.
No, I
Those
think
people get disappeared.
so. I think this is going to be controversial
Right.
Right.
About Mario Kart 11.
about the new yeah,
Right.
about Mario Kart being
12.
bonkus.
Right.
I think they're gonna drop. I think you're right. I think they'll drop the Fireflower because it's kind of useless.
I like how you
Like-
attribute that to me being right when it was.
Yeah.
It was
I think
clearly
you're right.
Ethan's.
You're really
older
right.
brother. That whole couch is just older brother.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the elderlies over there
yeah.
occasionally say something, and we don't know which one said what.
What's the
Yeah,
name of
fair.
those Muppets?
Oh, I don't remember. The elderly Muppets that are mad all the time.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, we always forget.
Yeah,
their
that's
name.
them.
The hecklers.
That's them.
Mhm.
No, the I think that I think Bullet Bill's gonna go away.
Oh,
Like
Really?
I know he's been around. It feels like a long time, but that's just because Mario Kart 8 is
Yeah.
now 10 years old.
that's true.
But really, he was introduced in DS,
yeah.
and then he came back in Wii, and now he's. I think he was in 7 and 8.
Yeah.
But I'm sort of curious. He does serve a really nice function, which is the idea of he's the ultimate last place item.
Yeah.
You can shock dodge with him. You literally don't have to drive. He moves faster than all the other carts.
You know what I
Yeah.
think is going to replace him, though?
What?
I think, because I've actually thought about this before, I think that the catch-up mechanic one, because that's what
Yeah.
he is. He's a catch-up.
He's a catch-up mechanic.
The giant
yeah.
mushroom is the
Yeah.
same way, right? Like you get it in
Correct, yeah.
last place, you get
Yeah,
just
yeah.
storm. In Mario Odyssey, one of the more famous abilities, it's even the one that they cap the main story off with, pun intended, is becoming a little ball of electricity and running across a
Oh,
wire.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you
a good one.
you'll become the
Ooh,
electricity and
that'd
dash
be
across.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now we're getting into new items.
that-
Yeah,
we're getting
so
into new
what
item
new
territory.
items would you like to see in the
Yeah.
new game?
I definitely think, just as my one item, because I wanted to have at least one that's not coming back, I definitely think Ice Flower's not coming back.
It's not in the game.
I was just
I
saying,
was
you
already
can't have
right.
an ice flower.
But you would like
Uh,
it?
It was already right.
I-
Actually, good point. I like the idea of an Ice Flower, and here's how it works. You can freeze item boxes with it. So that if people run into them, it stops
and
them.
it breaks.
Okay.
It's that'd be a cool way of
Cool.
turning an item box into a fake item
Yeah,
box.
Right.
Or
You-
you make a patch of the road behind you ice
Yeah.
that
Oh, cool.
wrecks people.
So
Especially
they
if they're
slip.
if they're doing the turn.
yeah,
takes
you
them out of their
strategically
drift.
put it on the
I'm
turns
going to
and-
say-
You
That's
like
good.
see Texas Power Grid, and you just take it down.
Right.
the new character. Texas Power Grid.
I'm going to say they bring back, wait for it, every item that was in a previous Mario
It's
Kart
the Smash
game.
Ultimate.
It's
It's,
the
going to be
Smash
called
Ultimate.
Mario Kart Ultimate,
Because-
and it's everyone is here.
Because bring
Everybody's
back,
here.
listen, bring them all back. Bring back every character. Bring back every item.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear any excuses. If Masahiro Sakurai staying
put
up with
everything.
bags under his eyes. He's got an IV in. He hasn't seen his wife in years, right? His children have gone missing.
Yeah.
He's just sitting there, all he's got is the occasional encouraging text from Hideo Kojima saying, I love you and I'll see you tonight, right? That's all he's got to live for, right? If he can do it,
Right.
if she can do it, if whatever, anybody who worked on that game can do it.
Right.
Why can't the Mario Kart team do it? All right?
I think that's an interesting thing because talking about Double Dash, a lot of the Double Dash items came back as regular items. Like a lot of people forget that the bomb started off as Wario and Waluigi's special item.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to see the return of stuff like the big banana that Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong had.
So fun.
That explodes into 3 small banana peels. Like that one would be great. Bowser's giant shell would be really
That
cool.
would be cool.
Like,
Actually, just the return of individualized specials
that'd be
would
cool.
for
be
each
fun.
character would
That'd
be
be really
cool.
cool.
That might be kind of hard because there's like 30 characters now.
Yeah, 24 racers all because that's sort of what I'm thinking about as far as like items that won't return or that will drastically change is like if the game does just change over, we all kind of think 24 racers is going to be a mode, but you could have easily looked at Mario Kart Wii and saw 12 racers and go, oh, cool, there's a 12 racer mode. No, that's just the game
That's
now.
the game now.
True.
And they took older courses that used to be smaller and more narrow for 8 people and just widened them so that you can, or I think in some cases the characters just became smaller, but either way. So you could do nitro courses like the retro courses with 24 racers. So I'm thinking of items that kind of lose their viability because it's like, okay, there's so many people, like you don't want it to become such a chaotic mess.
Yeah, but I mean, you could also just affect item rotation
That's true.
statistics so that the more chaotic items do not
Right.
get selected as often.
Right.
Because I mean, if you're gonna listen again, no excuses. Play test this game like crazy, Nintendo. Figure out what items make a race more chaotic, and then adjust the statistical probability of those items appearing accordingly.
What I think would be a
Ain't
cool
hard.
item
Ain't hard.
is the
No
Wonder
excuses.
Flower.
Oh, yeah.
That would be cool.
Makes
If
the
you-
course all weird.
Well, I think what would be cool is that if you use the Wonder Flower on yourself, your course gets all weird and you can see a weird pathway that nobody else can see.
Oh, I'd like
To everybody else, it looks like you're just driving on nothing, but it's because you use the Wonder
Oh,
Flower.
that would be fun.
If you follow someone who has a wonder flower, you can go on the thing
just
they're
can't
driving
see
on,
it.
but you
Yeah.
can't
You
see
gotta-
it.
Oh, that's
there's
smart.
a cool
It would be
example.
interesting too if like
That's
the like
cool.
elephants on parade are going across, and
Yeah.
only the person with the wonder flower knows how to go around.
Can see them.
See,
That's
yeah,
pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah, that would
You
be
can
fun.
follow them.
Yeah.
I want. Here's what I want:
Mm-hmm.
Star Fox items because I want Star Fox characters in the game.
Star Fox characters.
I want to
Seriously.
get twin lasers.
Twin lasers.
Twin lasers.
Nova bomb.
No, but
Mhm.
that's just the regular
No,
bomb.
No, but it's
Come
like
on.
it's like a much bigger bomb.
it's like a red
and
shell.
and it
That's a-
fires out like a red shell rather than
It's heat
firing
seeking.
out.
That
Just
brings up what
throw.
I was thinking about. How would you guys feel if there were character specific items? So
Yeah,
imagine
Bring those back.
Imagine
Yeah,
that,
sure.
like, just as an example, if you're playing as Link and you get a piranha plant, it just comes out as a Deku Baba.
Oh, of course.
That would be
Oh,
that's
okay.
that's no.
Yeah.
Isn't that a cool
Yeah,
idea?
I like
fine.
that.
Very cool.
As long as I mean,
Like
if
if
it's
you
visual, then
What-
yeah,
what
I'm
about-
okay with that. I think that the
Yeah.
custom items, the problem that they
Yeah.
ran into is that it affected the meta in a way
Huge.
that made
Huge.
Mario Kart more competitive than it already was.
Yeah.
And I don't think that that's really beneficial to Mario.
don't
What
either.
about custom abilities like Link just pulls out a sword and cuts the front of your card off?
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
just
fun.
chops it in half.
That's
and then
exciting.
You're done.
Yeah.
It's not an item, but why don't we take a moment to say what you said Star Fox, right?
Oh,
Take a
sure.
moment to talk about what would be like our
Characters.
favorite.
Oh, we might
racer
as
to
well.
be.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say
Sure. Quentin, kick it off. What character do you want to see come into the Mario Kart roster?
same as with Smash Brothers.
I like how he matched my cadence.
Solid Snake. Put Solid Snake in there.
Oh,
all right.
okay.
I
Why
want
not?
a Solid Snake Mario Kartified into it. Okay.
Right.
Got a cardboard box. He drives.
He's
I
an
want him
actual
driving
snake.
in a cardboard box, like
Yeah.
a cardboard cart.
That's
all right.
perfect.
Called the Labo. Okay.
Called the
Alright,
Labo.
yeah.
Called the Labo because
Genius,
Solid.
actually.
Like
You know.
like
Yeah.
Otacon's building a labo.
Yeah.
That's his introduction,
She's
right?
folding it.
It's a different dimension, Snake. He's got the thing on his
Yeah, right. There you go.
Yeah.
I would like to see Solid Snake.
Snake tries to
I
use
think it would
labo,
just-
but he has an eye patch on.
Mostly just because, well, there's two reasons.
Old
It's just a
Snake or-
screen.
I
yeah.
think that all of the characters that they have put in Mario Kart so far have
Mhm.
not provided a great deal of contrast. They have all fit very neatly into Mario Kart,
Sure.
like the Animal Crossing characters.
Which is
that
what
kind
I
of thing.
like about them, yeah.
But I love
And Stevie likes them.
But I love in Smash Bros.
Yeah.
The fact that there are characters that they don't fit together, and that's what makes Smash Bros. So interesting.
Kind of the theme of Smash Bros.
I
yeah.
would like to see that because we talked about this quite a while back of people making the comment of it's going to be Super Smash Kart, and
Sure.
as if that's a complaint. I'm
Right.
all for Super Smash Kart, so I would love to see Solid Snake or other characters that are more contrasting to the normal roster.
Yeah.
I'm not as
What about you?
like
Ethan?
I'm not as crazy about the idea of Super Smash Kart, but if they did like say like, oh, we're doing like Solid Snake and all these other characters, I would be down to see it. Yeah, I'd like it. It's not my first pick, but I think it would be interesting. For me, it's the obvious. Well, you can't have Piranha Plant because he's
an
already
item.
an item,
Yeah.
right? If he comes back,
And Petey Piranha's already in the game.
Petey Piranha, inferior, but he's there.
He's inferior, but he's
He's
there. Yeah.
That leaves two big ones.
Mm.
The big one and then the big two E's. The
Big
big
one. Yeah.
Mhm.
The
We're
big
talking
the
about-
first one is obviously Monty Mole. Just
Gotta have Monty
You
Mole
have
in
to
the
have
game.
Monty Mole.
Monty Mole's in
It's
one
a
Mario
crime.
Party and it's the only good one.
I don't know why
He's
they
in 2 Mario parties now.
Yeah, he's in 2, but I don't know why they don't rep Monty Mole more often.
Yeah,
a
he's
lot
the
of
best character
a lot of
design.
fans like Monty Mole.
I want Monty
He threw
Mole
a
in Smash
wrench at
Bros.
me.
Yeah.
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 Monty
Mhm,
Mole
you deserved
His
it.
smash attack is just shutting the game off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something.
Right.
There is a character. It is tragic that has never been in a Mario Kart.
I think
As
I
soon
know
as
who
you
you're gonna
hear
say.
it-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're going to say.
It's King K. Rool.
Yeah,
the
King
name.
K.
Oh, okay.
Because
Why
Donkey
has he
Kong's
not
already in the
been?
game.
It's shocking that the only Mario game he's ever been in is Super Sluggers, and he's dressed like he's from Mount Olympus.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not joking.
Yeah, no.
And he has no tail.
That's
I didn't know that.
That's not King K. Rool then.
Yeah, no.
I don't know what
That's
that is.
just a crocodile
Yeah.
who had a horrible accident.
Oh, you know what? I
In
actually
Greece.
am gonna
King
throw
K. Rool.
something else out there
Okay, go for it.
because we're really hoping that this means something, that this goes
Mhm.
somewhere, and
Right.
that we have a certain game series gets a revival soon.
Yep.
I'm gonna say, I want an escaped ape. Okay. I want a rep.
want
from-
Sony to do
I
it.
want a
Donkey
Sony
Kong,
rep.
yeah.
That'd be
I
cool.
think it would be really fun if we hadn't here's my thing. I always have said that I think that the sort of console war whole thing, the
It's
lines
stupid.
are starting to the lines are starting to dissolve somewhat now,
Yeah.
especially with the Xbox situation, and also Sony just
Everybody's giving
throwing
up.
everything onto
Everybody's
PC.
just throwing in the
Yeah.
towel.
I think a little more connection between these different groups
be
would be
cool.
fun.
That'd be
and
fun,
I
yeah.
think a great entry to that would be throwing
Ape
the
Escape.
Ape Escape monkeys
Yeah.
Sure.
into it, because I think
Sure.
they'd be a fun addition.
Put Croc in, but no one can tell the difference between Croc and Yoshi, so it's just
Who
Yoshi.
owns the rights to Gex?
That it was
No
Eidos.
one.
So who bought Eidos?
Or
no one.
the problem
gone.
is we can't go with
I don't
Crash
know.
Bandicoot because he already has his own racing game.
Yeah.
We can't go
He
with
does, yeah.
Sonic because he
Sonic.
already has his own racing.
Well, here's the
Should-
one
he
I'll say.
shouldn't.
Ever since, I don't know if you've played it, but ever since the amazing, maybe my favorite new DLC course
Yeah.
from the booster pack, which was Yoshi's Island.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a really good one.
I'm like,
Mhm.
there's a lot of characters I thought of, but I would love Raphael Raven.
Oh,
Ooh,
yeah.
I
Oh,
know.
He
10
was
out of
in
10.
it. That would be so cool.
It's a
He's
really
got
good one.
such an iconic design that's so like purely Mario, but he doesn't really show up very
He doesn't.
No.
I feel like that was like one of the like most charming things when I first played Paper Mario. Is when I
Yeah.
saw the Raphael Ravens up
Yeah.
there. Like I was just like, this Mario needs more in context universe
I
stuff
agree. Yeah.
that doesn't like try to like set him in a different setting, because the world of Mario is so colorful.
Yeah.
Like it's no secret. Like Yoshi's Island, my favorite Mario game.
Yeah.
I love Yoshi's Island.
Right.
And but just like the like design, like you said, like he's super iconic and rarely shows up.
Like speaking to that, I would love a Pianta to be a racer. Like
Oh, yeah.
pick like one of the ones that has a little, like the hotel owner or like the guy who gives you your sunglasses or something.
I've got the perfect pick
Yeah.
to be in
Yep.
the new game Mario Kart 11 coming out for Nintendo Switch 2
Right. Go for it.
is vice presidential candidate
Oh,
and
God.
crazy taxi
my
player
gosh.
Dreamcast owner Tim Walls.
Ty.
Tim Walls
Yeah,
should be in
Ty.
the game.
Amiibos are
Yeah.
in the
Who do you want in
game,
the
game?
so or Mii's rather are in the
Ty,
game.
you had
so
a
can-
perfect opportunity to say Tim Walls, Dreamcast owner, to follow that up.
Quentin's given 3,
Um,
so please, for the love of
yeah.
God, give one.
Wrap,
Give
wrap
one.
us up. Wrap us up with this topic with your
Yeah.
who you want.
Here's who I want. I want a cart that's driving another cart.
That's brilliant.
Alright,
I
the
love it.
cla-
Wrapped up.
Worst idea, yeah.
We've
Classic
wrapped it up.
Mario
Worst
Kart
idea.
cart
Brilliant.
driving
To quote
another cart.
Quentin
Light frame.
from like 15 episodes ago. This is the stupidest.
I know. This is stupid. This podcast is so stupid. No, I'm
Bordering on
gonna
brilliant.
I'm gonna close it out.
Of course.
Because
Narcissist.
I love. I know.
He's got to.
I know.
Yeah.
He's got.
I love that we just changed
Such
the
a
topic
problem.
to characters we want to
Yeah,
see.
we just
yeah,
jumped.
it's
But-
not really it.
I'll kind of put it this way. I've always wanted Mr. Gooper Blooper to come back
That's sick.
because
Wait, he's
because
in there.
well, no. Here's the thing: is that like the blooper.
Yeah.
We're time for some Mario lore. You started
Oh
this,
God,
Rachel.
no,
Oh
no,
my
God,
God.
Rachel, why'd you ask him?
You
anything?
started him on talking about the difference between a blooper and gooper
Oh,
blooper.
let me summarize
Yeah.
real quick.
The boss.
Gooper Blooper's a boss.
gone,
Yeah.
Rachel.
And so it would make sense
Me
that
too.
he'd be able to
A real
drive.
bomb.
Like
Yeah.
I think it would make more
Yeah.
sense. Here's the thing. This is why Super Smash Kart is not really what I want, is because as a die-hard Mario fan,
Loser.
Rachel's making me move on.
We're pretty much already there with like the
On.
Splatoon.
I want
Characters.
more Mario characters. And
Yeah.
if it became Smash Kart, like I feel greedy saying I want Monty Mole and Smash Brothers, but I do want Monty Mole and
Yeah,
Smash
fair.
Brothers.
You want it?
So
Thought I didn't.
Oh, yeah.
thank you for indulging me
I'm
for
sorry.
a Mario Kart.
Are we still
topic.
talking about Mario
Yeah.
Kart?
I want Bob Hoskins. Mario.
Okay.
He's in
Bro.
it. So
Yeah.
We have 10 minutes. Is that enough for another topic? Or
Depends
you
on the
wanna move to
topic, I
game?
think.
Not knowing the other topic,
That
maybe
would be
not.
difficult.
Yeah.
But do we have a game to play tonight?
Have
we
a
sure
game
do.
to-
Then let's move on to the game.
You guys ready to move on to
We
the
get some
game?
extra
Let's move on
time
to
to
the
the game.
All right, we're playing a power-up classic.
Oh,
Which
God.
whenever I say that, that means that it's something we've never played before.
Okay.
Now, we're
It's more or less. No.
it's coming. It's
We're
coming. I've
never
got one
doing
in the
more or
works.
less.
No, we're
Never
playing
again.
Guess Who video game character edition.
Well,
Hey.
All right, guys, we're doing Guess Who, but video game character edition.
Guess Who.
So we're doing this where it's a team based. Me
Yeah.
and Ethan versus Ty and Quentin.
We got this.
So basically, you're gonna see a video game character, and you've got to try to describe it to the other teammate. You can't say
Oh,
the name of the character.
it's like charades.
yeah, any part of the name of the
Verbal
character.
charades.
I like
But
it.
here's the
Oh.
little addendum to it. You can use a maximum of 5 words,
Oh.
but for each word that you use, you lose a point. So if you can get it in one word, you get 5 points. But if you use all 5 points, or all 5 words, you only get 1 point. Me and Ethan will demonstrate here.
Okay.
All
I'm
right,
gonna pull a
round
character out of here. Ethan doesn't know who it is. I know who it is, and you, the audience, know who it is.
one. Maybe.
So I can use 5 words to tell Ethan to try and get him to guess. But if I just use one,
Yeah.
then I get points for all the words I didn't use.
This is
But if you
interesting.
use all 5 words, you only get 1 point if he gets it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it.
So basically, you have 6 points. 1 word takes away 1. You can still get 5.
Okay.
If I say nothing and you get it,
You
we
get it?
We get 6
Bro.
points.
Give it a shot.
That would be if Ethan
Okay,
and I
so-
were on
Ethan,
a
what is
team.
it? Go ahead and just say a character real quick.
It's Petey Piranha.
Nope.
Darn. All right, I'm going to say, let's see, 1 word. Princess.
Princess Peach.
Another word.
Princess Zelda.
Hey, he got it.
Hey.
Yeah.
So
All
how
right.
many points does he get? All
So
5?
I get 5. Yeah, me and Ethan get 5.
I feel like for every wrong guess, you should lose a point.
That's actually pretty
Yeah,
fair.
let's do that. So that
Yeah.
would be 4.
So 4 points. Yep.
Yeah, that feels better.
Yeah, because then
All
I
right,
could
Ty.
have given him a word.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
We're so
Can we
screwed.
switch? Is it always this direction?
Yeah. So just for screen
Okay.
cheating,
Yeah.
we're gonna do it this way.
Monado.
Shulk.
Hey, that was pretty good.
That was
All
good.
fine.
All right,
Good
Ethan, we
job.
got.
I mean, Monado doesn't leave for a lot of other options.
No.
Um,
Well, I'll explain later why
Oh.
we can't do that. Yeah. All right, come on, Ethan. Brother Brain Link. There's definitely going to be music in this portion.
Mushroom.
Mushroom. Ooh, mushroom.
If this is Mario, you took about 15,000 minutes too long.
Is it Toad?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
Nice.
I was gonna try and do a Toad impression. Glad I didn't.
Yeah, that was really
Jesus
good.
Christ, man, your impression is so upsetting.
That was really good.
You have
I'm gonna
to
hang
be
on to
not
these.
afraid of giving yourself a sore throat.
You got that right.
Yeah. Sorry, audio listeners.
Yeah.
All right, Quentin,
All right,
you're
Quentin.
you're having tie guess.
Croc. Odile. It's one word. Crocodile.
King Karul.
Got it.
Oh, we're too good at this game. Everybody's getting 5 points.
Well, we're behind, man.
You got
we gotta
four the
catch up.
first
We
one.
gotta
Behind
catch
by
up.
one.
Some of these might get.
If anyone else had said princess, I would have thought Zelda, but because it was you, for some reason, my brain was like, well,
Yeah,
I know.
that's understandable.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Oh, what
This
can I
one's
say?
so easy.
This one's so easy. Oh, but what if I'm so scared of messing it up?
This one is so easy. If you can't mess this one up. I dream of having that one.
You gotta play the brother.
Yeah, I gotta play the brother. I'm gonna
Oh my
mess it up.
Yeah, two in his
That
head.
got in his
He's in his head.
You got this.
I got this.
This
Yeah.
is
What if
so
I?
easy.
Oh, what if I just make a sound? You ready?
That's
I'm gonna
not
make a
wait,
sound.
Wait,
Let's
wait,
see.
aren't you
That's
supposed
a
to
word?
wait? Aren't you supposed to say a word?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm supposed to say a word,
And it's so
One word.
easy. What word to
but
use?
I can't use any.
Commit.
I mean, it's just
Commit
Yoshi.
and jump.
Oh my gosh, you got it! It is.
Yeah.
Who is it?
He got.
I said it's
Oh,
just
it's
Yoshi.
Yoshi.
That's correct.
How?
So you
We
guys
get 6
6
points. I didn't
Oh
even
my
count it.
god.
I don't know
All
why.
right.
How did that possibly
Good
take you
job.
so hard to say
I
the
feel
word
like
dinosaur?
you actually said a bunch of words.
No, but I didn't say anything about the character though.
My point
I feel
is
like
that
they were. Yeah, you did. It was that way. It was easy.
Listen,
No.
say you can make a noise to tell his character, limits it down to every video game character that makes noise.
I mean,
Yeah, but
here's
what
the thing,
character
I was gonna go.
Yeah.
All right.
I would have just confused.
All
Two
right,
words.
all right,
Yeah.
whatever.
6 points, baby.
That's
Oh
6
my
points. You
God.
guys are officially tied.
Quentin did that to himself. He was like, "It's so easy. It's so easy."
It literally
so.
was
Yeah.
so easy. I
There's
don't know
lots
why.
of easy characters.
I played the game.
Sucks.
This one's so easy.
There's so
Yeah,
sucks.
sucks.
Do you know who you're talking to? Honey, I think they all suck.
He
It's
did it so
Kirby.
intense.
You got it.
Yeah, he did it. He did it.
This game is so stupid. It's so easy.
Yeah,
Literally,
we might need to use more.
This is
obscure
so
characters
stupid.
next time,
We're
yeah.
learning.
Well, it's
We're
the
learning.
same way the same way the other one
All
was.
right.
Yeah.
Well, this one is actually a little trickier.
Okay. Good.
Because your
Okay,
last one was
good.
0
Mine
words.
Right.
was really tough. We're ahead because, or no, we're tied because of your genius.
Yeah, I was about to say, what's a good one word for this? Is actually true. When you guys hear it, like you're gonna realize, like this one's actually kind of tricky to put one word to.
Okay.
So let's see. The right word is. I could get it in two.
Oh, that's fine.
Start out with one.
I can do this, Ethan. Believe in me. Believe in me, Ethan.
Old.
Old. I can't do that. Let's see.
I can get it with one more word. Like,
So old. Oh.
If you don't give another word, we're gonna be here all night.
all right, we'll be tied.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say old monkey.
Oh, Monkey Cranky Kong.
There you go.
I should have just said Cranky Kong. I was thinking Cranky Kong.
It's kind of hard, right? Because I was like, he
Yeah.
saves your games in some.
And you can't say like you could have said like curmudgeon, but
Right.
then
Yeah.
that's
All right,
kinda-
Ty. Hadoken.
Ryu.
Yep, you got it. This game is so terrible. I almost can't believe it. I almost can't believe it.
So we know to do more esoteric characters.
Yeah, now we're learning. It's our first time.
It's
Right,
our
it's our
first
first. This is gonna be
time.
great
Yeah,
for the viewer.
first time.
This is gonna be
Watching
great.
all of us get every answer immediately.
Yeah.
All right, Ethan, for the win. I'm just not going to say anything. No, I'm kidding. Let's see. What should I say?
Oh my god.
What should I say, Quentin? Now okay. I'm not gonna do the whole this one should be hard. I feel like maybe that's a little cheating. I'm gonna say secretary.
Oh,
Why
secretary.
did you go with secretary?
Isabel?
Oh, he got it.
very good.
Dag. That's why I went with secretary.
that's
'cause
why.
We're
All right.
neurally linked.
He gave me the hardest character so far, by the way.
Is it Monty Mole?
It's not, is it?
It's Monty Mole.
Is it Monty Mole?
Oh, we're too in sync, guys.
Holy
Is it Monty
crap.
Mole?
If you didn't
It's
know,
Monty Mole. I was gonna
Is it
say
actually Monty Mole?
Burrows.
people are gonna think this game is.
People are
This is
gonna
the
think
worst-
this is rigged.
This is the worst
rigged.
game.
No, this is actually great. See, I tell people sometimes is that like we get banned from charades.
Yes.
Like all of us
Yeah.
do.
We
It's
do.
been our whole. This is a little power up lore here. Our
We're
entire
gonna scrub the
lives.
footage and look for Quentin looking at in the.
I
in the
did grab the Ryu earlier, so
But-
you will see me digging in to
No,
grab the
that
Ryu.
is crazy. How did you?
Monty Mole.
What made you think Monty Mole?
I was going through kind of the different ones we
Yeah.
had so
That's
far,
insane.
right? And they had gotten a Yoshi,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, they got a Yoshi. and
Which
sort
to
of
answer your question, we couldn't share because I wrote all of those,
Ah.
and then Rachel wrote these.
Then
So
that
like,
makes
and then
sense.
made sure there wasn't over.
Then how did you
Yeah.
not know
That-
it was Monty Mole?
No, I'm not trying to guess yours.
No, but you wrote them.
he
You
wrote,
forgot.
I wrote yours.
Yes, one of mine
and
was
his
Monty
was
Mole.
Monty Mole.
And you go, is it Monty Mole? Of course it is.
Well, I don't know how many are in there. Yeah.
Oh, you wrote more than what was in here?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, I understand everything now.
Yeah. That's
There
crazy.
is a clear-cut winner, unfortunately.
Oh, who won?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ty and Quentin by
Aw.
2 points.
Yeah.
With how many?
By 2 points, 26 to 24.
That's not too much of a clear cut one. I'm proud of us.
Wow.
We got
That
the first
was-
Neuralink.
Yeah.
That
did.
was
You did.
the worst game ever because it was barely.
I
we
liked
basically-
it.
I
we
had
basically
fun.
I had
steamrolled-
fun.
We
I had
steamrolled the whole
fun.
thing.
We're
Yeah.
learning.
Typical podcast. These people
Yes,
had fun.
enjoyed it.
What a disaster.
Quinn was
We-
miserable.
Well, it was a game where we literally knew all the answers immediately. So fast. You all are so predictable.
Yeah,
You
actually,
you
this
didn't
game
drop
taught
a single.
this game taught us that, in case you don't know, we're four actual brothers,
uh-huh.
and I've heard siblings described perfectly, where it's just you realize at some point when you're an adult that your sibling is just you from an alternate dimension.
Yeah, that's it.
And this is evidence of that.
'Cause here's the-
We may be different people, but man, when I just have to go like, and Ethan goes Yoshi,
Yeah.
we've really got.
I didn't do anything, and Quinn said Monty Mole.
Monty
I
Mole.
know.
Here's my thing. What else were they gonna pick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think that was all Nintendo
Literally
characters.
anything else.
No, that was all-
literally any other character.
Every
Yeah.
single one was Nintendo characters, so it was either going to be Piranha Plant
Right.
or Monty Mole.
Were they all Nintendo characters?
Every
They
one of
were
those
because I made that.
I was about to say they were only
Yeah,
Nintendo
right.
characters,
Yeah.
and you all are
Rachel.
losers. You only play Nintendo
we should
games.
switch it to like video game items, something that's like really specific.
Something a little more
That'd be
esoteric.
cool.
I mean, we could
Yeah.
also
We
should
just
do that
use
next
like
time.
harder to guess characters.
What do you guys think we should do for
Mega Man could have been
Yeah.
there. That would have been fun.
Drop it in the
Yeah,
comments.
Yeah, tell us
Master
in the comments.
Chief. Yeah, video games.
Yeah, do something
Video
that'll make
games.
Quentin lose. I
Yeah.
actually was worried that I put Quentin on your team.
Yeah.
I was like, Quentin's gonna submarine it and just destroy it.
It was that rare instance of like all the video game because most of these were Nintendo characters
Yeah.
and they were all classic. We didn't have an Arthur Morgan this time,
Yeah,
and
No, I felt
they
bad
were
'cause
all
last
so Quinn knew
time-
them all.
See, that was
last time I
again,
gave you Whiz Pig, and I was like, I can't do that to Ty again.
Wizpig was pretty
No,
clever though.
That's what we were
Wizpig was
trying to
good.
avoid.
Yeah, Yeah.
That's who should be in Mario Kart.
Whiz
Pig
Pig!
should be in
Hey.
Mario Kart. Guys, if you're still here, thanks for being here so much.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Tell us what
Thank
you
you.
think, which item you think is going to go away in
Yeah.
the new Mario Kart. What item do you want in the new Mario Kart?
And tell us
in the
and
comments.
tell us a game to play that Devin didn't come up with.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It might be
actually,
good.
Suggest games. That would be
It could be
super
good.
fun.
Suggest
really
games.
fun.
and-
Speaking
I like
of
the games you
games-
come up with, Devin. I
Yeah.
like the games.
Thank you.
Because I
Thank
win
you.
them.
'Cause
Video
I win
games.
them. Yeah.
I haven't played, but have strong opinions about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly.
I'm gonna sit this one out.
Oh.
Oh no,
'Cause I
no,
can't
we're not
think of
playing
any.
that.
We
We're not
played
doing
a
that.
game.
We already played a
Everyone's
game.
sitting this one
We-
out.
yeah.
We're all
played a
sitting.
game.
No, we're not
We
doing
already
this
played
any
a game.
longer.
We already
Subscribe
played
to
a
the
Why would we
podcast.
subscribe to the
Subscribe
podcast?
to Patreon.
Or your house gets drone striked. I don't make
Oh,
the
Oh,
rules.
okay. Bye bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Goodbye.